This is a scene that is too familiar around Colorado. Families one by one bringing their kids home from a reunification center after an act of violence closed their school. These pictures are from yesterday in Evergreen, but they echo the images we've seen over and over the years at Denver East, at STEM School Highland Ranch, and at Columbine.
So we have our mental health and parenting expert, Dr. Sheryl Ziegler, here with us this afternoon to help unpack what we have seen in the last 24 hours. I mean, we are struggling, right? I can only imagine what our kids are seeing, and this is just part of it. You know, there's been a lot of violent videos, gun violence videos on the internet over the last 2 days between Evergreen, between Charlie Kirk. How do we even begin the conversation with our kids, and at what age do you have this conversation?
So I think the question about age is really about exposure. There's no perfect age because you could have an 8-year-old that has an older brother or sister that attends high school or is in middle school, or they heard it on the bus. So it's not so much about age, but it's about checking in. So if you've got the younger kids, I think you just say, you know, you can tell if they're listening, but do you know what we're talking about? Have you heard any things that maybe sound scary? My guess is most kids are going to say yes, even if, and then you might say, my classic line, right? So tell me what you know. And they might just say, I don't know. I think there was like some kind of shooting, or there was a bad guy at a school. They might say something like that. And then you just stay right at their level. You're right, there was. And it was in our state, or it was somewhere nearby. And so that's really got a lot of people feeling a lot of big feelings, scared and sad. So you just meet them right there, right? And they may ask more questions, they may not. I want to remind everybody, you do not need to know all of the answers. Really, you just need to be present. When it comes to middle and high schoolers, definitely high schoolers, I'd say we're at 100% no. Middle schoolers, the vast majority are aware. You really want to say to them, same thing, just tell me what people are talking about. Tell me what you're seeing. When I asked my own kids that, and yesterday I saw other people's kids as well, most of the time they said, well, somebody showed me this video. It's all about images for them. Yeah. And it's videos that they're watching of the people being reunited. And it's also people's stories on Snapchat. And a lot of times they're private stories. So if a parent thinks they're following their kid, these are private stories. Sometimes they're sharing, and it could be someone who's just bawling, crying. It could be people, I have heard everything in between, like, could I have done something? Oh, I wasn't there, I was homesick, I feel bad, all these things in between. So I think what was important for me to remind all the teens that I've been working with is, please, on your own, if you can, limit your social media, because it's like, addicting for you to watch, whether it's the Charlie Kirk assassination or this, just watching it over and over. And I really tried to explain to them what it's doing. Like, for a little bit of time, we all feel connected, right? Like, we're going through something big in our state, so like, I'll get on and see, you know, well, what is Sam saying about it? So for a little bit of time, it's like, oh, we're connected. You care, I care. But then after a while, when I'm just watching the same videos over and over, that's no longer connection. There's nothing healing about that. It's actually re-traumatizing.
So talk to the parents, right? Like I have found it very difficult yesterday, even today, to kind of keep my emotions in check. And I know that's not good for my kids when trying to have these, you know, age appropriate, difficult conversations. How do you do that? How do you kind of get yourself composed and together so that you can even begin to have these conversations?
I think there is a time and space to be authentic, and this is probably the time. I think they need to see that we are, like yesterday, I was actually angry. You know, today I feel a lot more of the solemn feeling, but yesterday I felt more like not again. Like, how is this happening again? So I had more of that energy, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. This is a process of grief and trauma, and you go through these things. There's even denial, right? There's denial, and there's anger, and there's sadness, and then there's like coming to terms, and this is when we try to find something positive or forward moving about it, but it's really hard, and we're 24 hours in. Like, it's okay to feel whatever you're feeling. So I would say to a parent to just tell your kid the truth. Whether if you've been watching a lot of news about it, say, gosh, I can't find I find that I'm having a hard time stopping watching. And you know, for my own mental health tonight, I'm actually going to turn the TV off, or I'm not going to look at social media. Or they could say, I didn't hear or talk to anyone about it today, which would probably be unusual, but what were kids talking about at school for you today? Just be you, because if we act so strong, that's sending a message to kids that we don't have feelings, that we don't care, or we're not that connected, and that will make them more disconnected from us. So I think really a moderate level if not full level of showing your feelings is really not just okay, but good for them. It models for them empathy, care, concern, and community.
I'm so glad
Great
you're sharing.
advice.
Yep,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
so glad you're sharing that with us. We have less than a minute, but and I don't even want to bring up the gunman's picture again, the gunman's name, but it's important to note that the Jeffco sheriffs and the officials said that he had been radicalized online somehow. That's all we know. What are some warning signs that you can give parents? Red flags if their kid seems off with whatever they're immersed in online.
Yeah, I think you need to look for secretive behavior online. You need to look for the kid who, when you walk in the room, shuts a door, shuts the laptop. You need to see what they're purchasing. You need to kind of track their money. And yes, this was a child. This was a 16-year-old. However, something was going on, and we don't know all the details. But what I will say is, when the notion of when you see something, say something, when you see something within your kid, sometimes we get into denial. We don't want to believe that something, and nothing like this, we can't imagine. But just explore that. Kids who are not connected to other kids in real life, that in and of itself is at least a yellow flag. We want kids connected with other kids. And so that's something, I don't know anything about this situation, but that's a theme we generally tend to see is there's this withdrawal from other people. If you're seeing that within your kid, it could mean multiple different things, but usually it's not something good. You want to really pay attention to it.
Dr. Ziegler, thank you for your advice, as always, but it
Yep.
feels especially poignant today. We appreciate you.